Hey, come here. You like pro wrestling? We got a little something for you. 2 fans, 3,000 miles away. We each been watching for more than 30 years. Celebrate the art form, the action, the homoeroticism. We ain't rating matches. We ain't analyzing stories. We ain't experts. We just sit down, shut up, and mark out! Welcome, everybody. It is me. It's Blade fucking Daily. And we're here with another edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out. I'm joined, as always, by the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, Joshi G. Joshi, how the hell are you?
Yo, I'm doing all right. To be perfectly honest with you, I Blade Daily, I'm feeling very conflicted this week.
About?
Beast Martos.
What do you mean?
Well, now that we know what he potentially looks like,
God damn it.
I don't understand how I can envision him as a beast anymore. And we had formed this cult and everything. And I'm just so torn now. How am I ever going to look at him the same way again?
You're going to ruin the cult because you're thirsty for Beast Mortos.
I just have to pretend that I never saw his photo. That's all. It never happened.
You haven't looked at it every day since last weekend when you posted it on Threads.
You know what? I haven't. I stopped looking at it.
You stopped looking at it.
I did. I had to remind myself that he is our dark daddy.
Cult leaders generally do weird sex stuff at some point. It just feels a little early in the project for us to have gone there. But yes, not only were you thirsting after Beast Mortos, you got all these other people on Threads thirsting after Beast Mortos. And it came to light that Beast Mortos is a big fan of posting mirror selfies of himself with his face covered up. And yeah, he does not look much like a beast. He's a very, very handsome man. Very handsome, muscular man.
I take full accountability. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
But you know what? Just pretend it never happened. If it's necessary for me to delete my thread, I will do it. That photo does not exist.
Yeah, that works really well. Is when you tell people not to look at it, now they're going to go on Threads to look at it. So anyway, somebody's ruining the cult already. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Little Beast Mortos thirst traps. Whatever, you know. I'm sure there's people who have thirsty pictures of Jesus. You know what I mean?
True.
You know,
that is
I bet
weird,
there is.
Though. Yeah.
Like Jesus, you know, with like the towel wrapped around him or something like.
Oh, boy. I don't even want to think about that. Yeah.
Oh, come on. We're just getting started, baby. Well, I have had a really good week. I'm a lot less conflicted than you are. Lot less conflicted. And you know why that is, Joshi?
Let me guess. You're going to a show.
I am going to a show. Do you want to guess what show?
Am I dreaming?
Yeah. You must have dreamt of the dream that I fulfilled by getting my tickets for fucking WrestleDream. They are quite a bit more expensive this year. But I think that's because something very important is going to happen. So I'm a big fan. I do not like sitting on the floor because I'm short. So tall people kind of tend to obscure my view a lot. Also, unless you're the very front row, how do you know somebody's not going to put up a sign and just block you for half the show? I'm not cool with like paying $500 for a ticket and not being able to see. I will fume and be pissed the entire time. So I do that elevated floor area, pretty much center front, the front row of my section, and got aisle seats. So can pee without problems.
So convenient.
In the bathroom, not in my seat.
I would sure hope not.
Point of clarification. No, I don't do that anymore. I mean, ever. I never would do that. But yeah, so tickets for WrestleDream. Going to be very interesting. I now have a much more vested interest in the outcome of certain things at All In 2024. But we're not talking about All In 2024, Joshi G, because We're already talking about All In 2025.
Already.
Yesterday, Thursday, it was announced that All In 2025 is taking place in Texas. At the place where the Rangers play, the Texas Rangers play. I forget the name of the field at this very moment, but it's a stadium show in America, which I guess, is Arthur Ashe technically a stadium?
That's a good question.
I mean, it's not like a place that can hold like 45,000 people the way at baseball.
Right. Arthur Ashe Stadium. I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, it's more like a tennis arena.
Yeah, it's like an arena more than a stadium. So, yeah, so basically, you know, this is like the first real stadium show in America. Very exciting. It's going to be very interesting to see how they do when it comes time for tickets to go on sale. I'm sure there will be a lot of rational discussion about it, however they do. But it does got me thinking, next July, Blade Daily may just need to go to Texas for the first time.
Are you going to drive there?
No. Dear God, no. Jesus Christ, no. No, I would definitely fly in and fly the fuck back out. But yeah, I've never been to Texas, so I'm thinking about it. Could be really cool with the way they're treating this year's show. It, you know, if this is their WrestleMania kind of level show where it's the biggest show of the year, you know, they're going to throw everything at it. I did see somebody say, and I could be wrong, so if I'm spreading misinformation, I apologize, but I did see somebody. I did see somebody else say that they've already announced Wembley. They're coming back to Wembley in 2026.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Kind of a cool thing. One, smart to announce it now before Wembley, because it's like, well, it's not coming back next year. So if you want to see AEW sometime in the next year, you better be there later this month. But also cool that they're going to go back to Wembley in 2026. I think that's awesome. But needless to say, things are very exciting. If you live outside the United States and you've never gotten a chance to see AEW, I've never been to a wrestling promotion shows that I've enjoyed more. I've been to a WrestleMania. I went to WrestleMania 19. I saw a super good WrestleMania, one of the all-timers. And I've also been to All Out. I've also been to Double or Nothing. I've been to Dynamite. I've been to Collision. I've been to WrestleDream. And those shows on a wrestling quality scale, on a fan electricity scale, nothing I've ever attended for WWE has ever come close. I'm not trying to degrade WWE. I'm just very excited for the international fans. So make sure you check it out. Okay. So Joshi, we some stuff happened in the A of the E of the dub since last we talked. There was a Collision. There was a Dynamite. Both I thought were really good. Collision particularly was really, really strong.
It was.
I'm loving this Arlington residency. It has not worn out its welcome for me. I have really, really enjoyed it. We got a fucking tag match with Darby and Hologram teaming up like a super flyweight tag team. Fucking hell yeah. That was awesome. They punked the premier athletes. Less said, the better. Thunder Rosa jacked up Deonna Purrazzo in a Texas Bull Rope match. I was a little worried that they were going to do the four corner shit with these two, and they did not. It was pinfalls, which I think is a much better way to do this, because it is a grudge match. You want a definitive winner. You don't want somebody pulling somebody to four fucking corners. Fuck that. Thunder Rosa was triumphant, bloody faced. Both ladies bled by the time it was all said and done. Deonna ended up cutting a great promo about it after the show in an offline promo. I thought it was a very good promo, and she was kind of laughing about it. So I think this is cool. I think if they end it here, they have moved the ball forward for Deonna on some level. And Thunder, I love that she was crying after the match, because, it's like she brought out something inside of her. She didn't want to have to go as dark as she did. So that was cool. Your thoughts?
Well, first off, I thought that Darby and Hologram made a really good tag team. I enjoyed their fluidity together. And as for Deonna Thunder Rosa, loved it. I love when the women get violent and aggressive. And I just wonder if this is the end of their rivalry or if they're going to do a best of 7 series. I'm not sure. It's not clear. I suppose they might. Or like you were saying in our conversation earlier, perhaps they can run it back next year or something like that. Because right now, Deonna has won 3 out of the 5 matches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even, right?
Right.
So we'll see.
Indeed, we will. We will see. I do think if they're going to do like a best of 7, they would have announced it already.
Right.
I don't think you could put this match on a pay-per-view because they've already done all these crazy stipulations. So
what about All Out maybe? Cage match?
Yeah, but it would have to be something big, like a cage match.
Yeah.
I mean, because they've already done a fucking Texas Bull Rope match. They've done a lumberjack match. They've done all kinds of crazy shit. So it's hard to see how they would top it at this point, other than maybe like a ladder match. Maybe they do the second exploding barbed wire death match.
Oh gosh, but this time it will actually explode properly.
I don't think they're ever doing that match again.
No, and they shouldn't.
Swerve had an open challenge on Collision, and just, on a random Collision with no advanced promotion, who should answer the call? A fucking stone pitbull. Ishii answers the call, and they proceed to have a banger. Now, look, we've all heard of Hot Girl Summer. We've all heard of Hot Boy Summer. But have you heard of Hot Dawg Summer? Because my dog, Ishii, looked damn good in the ring with Swerve Strickland. It's a match that I've literally never even thought about. And it was just put right in front of me, and I'm going, what the fuck? Joshi.
It was such a pleasant surprise, and I thought they absolutely killed it. I think RVD might have gotten some pretty bad weed last weekend because he had responded to some fan on X that had said the match wasn't good with I want my money back. I really hope you were joking, Rob Van Dam. I'm a big fan of yours, and I'm not going to tolerate any slander.
Yeah, what the hell? That was a really good match.
It was.
It's hard to argue anything else. And as if we didn't get enough on Collision, we also got the greatest referee shirt of all time.
Turtleneck.
Christian Cage comes out in a turtleneck referee shirt. The House of Black and the Bang Bang Gang had a really good match with each other. These guys have very good chemistry together, all 6 of these guys. And our boy Christian thinks he's gotten himself out of something, but I think he got himself into something even worse. All the men are down in the match. Sometimes AEW does this thing where they do every guy from every team hits a move on each other and they're all down. That's like a common trios trope that I noticed in AEW. So when they did that this time, I was like, oh, here we go again. I kind of get a little over it sometimes. But this time it actually really played into the finish, which was Christian's, everybody's down. Christian's counting, doing the 10 count. Buddy gets back to his feet and Christian spears him and finishes counting to 10. So he thinks he's gotten them out of having to defend the trios titles at All In, but I have a sneaking suspicion he's going to end up defending against both teams. They're going to do some kind of crazy 3-way trios match, which is wild. Absolutely wild. Joshi?
It was a fantastic match, actually.
It was great.
You know what? I don't know what's been going on, but it seems to me like House of Black is having a blast and they're really into their matches lately. I don't know what's changed. Maybe they're in a better place. But Malachi, especially with his moonsaults and just killing it in the ring. I also found it funny that Nigel was trying to convince Tony that Christian would be very fair.
Yes.
And for most of the match, I mean, he actually did a great job until the very end. So yeah, I think it's going to be a triple threat. I imagine at All In. No idea who's going to win that one. Clearly not the Patriarchy because Killswitch has to beat Christian up at some point. But yeah, I'm enjoying what they're doing with the trios titles. Sorry, right now. I like the teams that are included in this rivalry. And I hope we see Jay White very soon. I don't know what's been going on with him. I heard he was injured, but I haven't heard what kind of an injury it is or how long he's expected to be out for. Yeah. I wonder if this is just part of an angle. I don't know. So I'm having fun with this.
Yeah. I had heard Jay might have a foot injury of some type.
No, Jay.
So it might be a legit injury. It might not be. They did say he was injured by Christian. So it kind of makes me wonder if it's legit or not. Yeah. But I think that it would certainly, the Bang Bang Gang has been trending babyface, especially during this residency.
Yeah.
The Guns are cutting babyface promos. Juice Robinson, just try booing that, man. It's literally physically impossible. You can't boo Juice. Like, here, I'll try right now. Juice! See, I can't boo him. It's
impossible.
It's physically impossible. Go ahead at home. You can try it. We'll wait. See, you couldn't do it. Anyway, okay. So, super fun. This Arlington residency has been a smash hit, in my opinion. Love this venue. And we were talking about, there's some key people that have really been boosted by this residency. And we have 4 that we're going to point out right now. And the number 1, as you might guess, is Joshi
Mortos.
Is he? I notice you're not calling him Beast. You're just calling him Mortos now.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Damn it, man. That freaking picture.
You know what?
Beast Mortos. Yeah. Beast Mortos. I apologize.
God's sake.
Okay. I take it back. I know. I'm not behaving.
Hologram is another who I think has really shown his star potential in Arlington. It's so weird because the venue's been kind of perfect for these very particular players. They haven't had the lineups necessarily super loaded, but AEW's roster is so dense and so packed that even a show that isn't like A+ level star power can be an A+ level show or deliver A+ level matches. And Hologram and Mortos together and apart have been absolutely stunning. Another group that has stood out a bit, and Joshi, this was your suggestion. Why don't you tell the people about it?
MXM, the models.
Yes. These guys got me right away. Okay. I am not an extremist. I don't just like this type of wrestling or that type of wrestling. I love great in-ring workers. I love great gimmicks. And these guys potentially are both. Lots of fun in the ring. The match they had with FTR ruled. It was super, super good. Didn't mind them losing at all because it was a hard-fought, close battle. And they brought it. They absolutely brought it. But, man, their promos have been incredible. Just incredible. Them with Top Flight.
Oh
my
gosh.
God. That was an incredible promo. Leo Rush is getting involved. It's just like, I love Layla Gray being a part of Top Flight now.
Yes.
Man, so cool. It feels like there's the spark of something for this tag team division.
Come on, guys. Let's get moving here. Seriously, you've got the tag teams.
Absolutely. And then lastly, another standout act from this residency has been the Outrunners, who had one of the absolute best promos I've seen all year with this weird 80s VHS aesthetic. They are stealing people's food and bullying people and throwing a football and keeping it away from some guy. My God, what a great segment that was. I enjoyed their work. I enjoyed them as the boys. If Dalton Castle hadn't gotten hurt, they would still be doing that, I'm fairly certain. And hopefully when he comes back, they still do. But good God, they are so amusing. They are so funny. They get exactly who they are. I love what they're doing. So great collision. We got one more at in the Arlington Esports Center, Esports Arena, whatever the hell it's called. But I'm going to miss this place. I really like it.
Me too. They need to do it again.
I hope they keep finding, interesting small venues like this. It did come out that Koshe Irby, who I think, is their new CFO guy, that this was part of them bringing All In to Texas.
Oh, makes sense.
They got a huge deal on this. WWE only started doing this kind of thing like a few years ago. The fact that AEW has made up this much ground and is playing that game where they're coming to deals like this with cities and towns and et cetera, state governments, that's so insane. And I don't think people always talk about that or take the time to really think about how far that is for, they've literally they're barely 5 years old. And speaking of barely 5 years old, what isn't 5 years old at all is Last Dynamite. That's a few days old. And it started with a banger. Joshi G, tell the people about it.
Oh, man. Mercedes versus Shida for the TBS title. I was so stoked when I heard that they were going with this match. I mean, these are two of the best female wrestlers in the world. Mm-hmm. And holy crap, they delivered. Oh, man. And the thing about Ishida is that when she has really, really good opponents, and when I say really, really good, I mean on, let's say, a Joshi level, mm-hmm. she is able to be more vicious in the ring. Whereas when she wrestles someone that's less experienced, I find she kind of refrains from being as aggressive. Mm-hmm. It's just something that I've noticed.
She moves slower.
She moves slower. But with Mercedes, my goodness, those strikes were brutal. The way Mercedes responded to her, so well freaking done. I was sad when the match ended, to be perfectly honest, because I want more, man. Like, this match left me wanting so much more. Like, I'm thirsty for more. I thought these two were meant for each other.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap. I think that if you gave these two 20 to 30 minutes, they could have the women's match of the year.
They could. This was, it wasn't like a pay-per-view match or anything. It had a fuck finish. You had Camille cost Shida the match, which I think was great because they left so much on the table. They could do a pay-per-view match down the road. And obviously there would be obvious reasons for Shida to want some revenge. After the match, there's somebody wearing a Stinger mask down by ringside. Camille Britt Baker's music hits. Camille is absolutely positive that it's Britt at ringside wearing the Sting mask again. Starts beating the crap out of this person. It is not Britt Baker because she comes in behind Mercedes and beats her up a little bit, gets ready to put her in the lockjaw until Camille pulls her out of the ring. DMD and CEO at All In is it's going to be, I think the crowd is going to be really hot for this match. It's been really too bad that it didn't get more of a build on TV because Britt Baker was suspended. I don't got a lot to say about that because I don't know these people, but Mercedes has had to do a lot of work to try and make this interesting by herself. And, Britt hasn't gotten a lot of mic time in this, which is kind of her forte.
No.
And so it's been a little too bad that Britt hasn't been utilized in her strongest area. So I don't foresee her beating Mercedes in Wembley, but it is a marquee match. You got to give it that, and hopefully it'll be great. Speaking of great, Mariah May is great at being terrifying. This woman cut maybe the most scary promo of the year. This whole blonde bombshell murderer thing she's got going on is awesome. It is awesome. I posted it on Threads that my life goal is to be killed by Mariah May because she says she has some of the best one-liners in this promo that you'll ever hear. She's talking to Tony and she says, "Your biggest mistake was being alive at the same time as me." And that we're both going to die. But the only difference is I'll be giving your eulogy. So cold-blooded.
And she had mentioned that she wants Tony to become obsessed with her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, my God. It is. Whew. That was an incredible promo. I mean, look, these two women have given us some of the best shit in wrestling this year. I think it's still flying under some people's radar a little too much. But my God, in my opinion, Mariah May had one of the best heel turns ever. A literal heel turn.
She did.
I mean, just jamming a shoe into Tony's head over and over again.
Yes.
Tony's post-turn reaction has been incredible. They did interview Mina after this promo aired, and Mina looked troubled. She looked torn. I think she's going to have something to do with the finish of this match. I really do.
She's totally helping Mariah.
She's totally helping Mariah. I think she's turning on Tony. Maybe we get more Mina in AEW.
Yes, please. We all want Mina.
Hashtag we want Mina. We all want Mina, okay? If you don't know who I'm talking about, just go on the social media platform of your choice and just hashtag we want Mina. Because trust me, you do. You do. Whew. Awesome triple threat match. We had Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Orange Cassidy going at it to be the first participant in the AEW Casino Gauntlet match at All In. I love the Casino Gauntlet match. I think it is AEW's greatest invention of a match. It's like a reverse Royal Rumble where you actually want to be first, because if you're at the end, you may never even get in the match. My hope for this one is that it's a longer match than the others have been, and that all 21 people actually get out for it this time, because I don't think that's ever happened before. Can you imagine 20 people being down by ringside to 1-for-1 fall?
Oh, that would be really neat.
That'd be pretty cool, right? And the only person who's ever won a Casino Gauntlet match is Will Ospreay.
That's true.
He's won 2 of them.
Yeah, like I just really want to see Kyle O'Reilly pick up some wins and get a big push. He has been losing a lot ever since he came back from his injury. I do think that his losses are leading to something big for him. But my goodness, I just can't wait at this point.
Yeah, I kind of feel about Kyle the way I felt almost about like Swerve last year around this time, where every time Swerve had a big match, he was one of my favorites, but he'd always lose in a big spot. And it started to feel like, when the fuck is anything ever going to happen for this guy? And Kyle feels that way right now. But you did notice at the end of this match, Kyle's the one who got pinned by Orange Cassidy, who will be the first participant in the Gauntlet match. Kyle looked pretty upset. And then he's like, all right, I'll shake your hand. He's going to fucking lose his mind. He's going to lose one too many times, and it's going to launch him into a heel turn. That's going to be awesome. And it's going to hurt because Kyle's such a cool guy, and we all love him. We all love Kyle.
He's so likable.
Absolutely. I love Kyle, man. O'Reilly's one of my favorite guys to watch. I mean, just that hybrid MMA martial arts kind of thing that he does he's so good at it. And Roderick Strong. What more can be said about Roderick Strong? The guy he's been, I saw him in ROH a little bit, but I really saw him mostly in NXT. And I remember thinking, this guy is like one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. Like, he's one of the best athletes I've ever seen for sure. And I never felt like he got used to his fullest potential in WWE. I'm so glad that he and Kyle are in AEW and able to make the most of their careers, because Tony, I know, is a huge fan of both. I expect great things from both of them. And it's possible, the Undisputed Kingdom goes on without Adam Cole if Kyle turns.
I do miss Roderick Strong's entrance music, the end of Heartache. I do really miss that. It needs to come back. Yeah,
no, I saw some people saying that they really hate the Undisputed Kingdom theme. I actually like it myself, but it's just kind of like a revised version of Adam Cole's Boom theme. I mean, that's mostly what it is. But great match. And then another great promo. You have Okada and Claudio face to face. Okada, I don't know how this guy is doing this. This guy is...
What a gem.
So charismatic. He's so entertaining. You have to watch.
So handsome. Sorry, I had to say that. Go on.
The thirst never stops with you, does it, Joshi? Nope.
It's not my fault that AEW has a beautiful roster. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Sorry. Go on.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. But Okada kind of does the big wind up to end his part of the promo with bitch. And then he leaves and Claudio's like, I'm so sick of this, like kind of sports entertainer-y version of Okada trying to make your buddies laugh, trying to all this. And then he goes, Okada, you've got 99 problem, but this bitch is number one. That was dope. That was a great comeback.
It was.
Maybe my favorite promo from Claudio ever. But we get Claudio versus Okada on Dynamite this coming week. Incredible in Cardiff. Unbelievable.
That should be great.
Should be incredible.
Yeah.
The Acclaimed and the Bucks had a very good match until a dumbass finish. FTR interferes, costs the Acclaimed the match by DQ. I don't like the setup for this whole thing. It's just been it was weird without the Bucks there. Yeah. And then the Bucks just show up like they didn't lose at Blood and Guts. They don't look any like more determined or hungry. It's just this build hasn't felt good, especially because we kind of know it's going to end up being a 3-way match between these guys. I think it might be a ladder match.
Oh, maybe.
So, obviously that would be good. These guys will have a great match, but it's FTR versus the Acclaimed on Collision. And I kind of feel like it's going to be another fuck finish. And that, I don't love that. I don't love that. And then finally, Swerve murdered Wheeler Yuta with Bryan Danielson standing at ringside. They played a tribute package to Bryan Danielson with that Green Day acoustic song, that I hope you have the time of your life.
Of your life.
Which I thought I was at my high school graduation for a minute. They played that. It was a very good video package. Incredible. Made me feel a little emotional. They are really trying to make you think Bryan Danielson's going to lose at All In. But yeah, Swerve absolutely destroyed Wheeler Yuta. Hit him with 3 house calls, several of which were unnecessary.
Yes.
Joshi, your thoughts?
Well, just a couple of things. First off, is Bryan Danielson retiring as a full-time competitor still? Because I don't know anymore. I'm under the impression that he's going to be gone after this year because he's saying that he's going to require neck surgery and he's not, going at full speed in the ring anymore. So I'm not sure because I was under the impression until now that he was just retiring from full-time competition. But I don't know, like the past couple of months, it seems like he might be done after 2024.
Well,
what's your take, I Blade Daily?
Danielson is a notorious liar and he's a notorious worker. There are some in this business, namely Bryan Danielson is one of them. Who all else is just a fucking bold ass liar? Copeland, total liar. Kenny Omega, big time liar.
Oh no, not my husband.
He's your husband. Does Beast Mordos know about this?
Listen, Kenny Omega is my wrestling husband. He's first. I love my actual husband. I'm just being seen.
I'm sorry, man. I don't know. No, Kenny Omega is also a big worker. Remember when he gave that interview where he was like, I just want to put this past us, the brawl out stuff. And that night they went on Dynamite and did all of CM Punk's moves in Chicago. Yeah. They just got monster fucking heat.
Oh, Kenny.
That was legend shit. It's so funny to me that people are like, they shouldn't have done that. It's like, dude, that was hilarious.
It was funny.
That was really funny.
2 more things, I Blade Daily. I'll talk about Swerve first, just because we were talking about Danielson, Yuta, and Swerve. I thought that Swerve was so great during the entire match.
Oh, he was.
Antagonizing Danielson. And, after the match, doing the whole yes thing and acting like a jerk, to be honest. Like, I love that our guy Swerve is still, I don't know, like he still kind of crosses the line sometimes. And I like that it's not changing, because you're just like, you see him doing these things. It's like, yeah, Swerve is still a freaking tweener at times. He's not a full blown baby face.
He's a guy who does terrible things that we just like, and that's the choice that they have forced you as an audience to make. Is like, this guy does shitty things. It doesn't matter who he's wrestling. He's going to fuck with them. He's going to bully them, and he's going to try and get in their heads and take them out of the game before they ever get to the title match. And that's clearly what he's trying to do with Danielson. Danielson comes in to protect Wheeler Yuta. Swerve looks like he's about to leave, and then he runs back and hits a fucking house call on Bryan Danielson, and then stands over him and does the yes stuff. I mean, fucking world-class dickery from Swerve.
Swerve. Never change.
Never change, buddy.
And last thing. This is the last thing I promise. Pac. So is he wrestling at all in or not? I mean, he's from freaking England.
I think he's got to be.
He wasn't there last year,
He's got to be
right?
in the gauntlet match. He was injured last year.
I really hope so. I mean, come on, man. He has to be part of all.
He has to. I think he'll be in the gauntlet match. I think that, that'll be what he does this time. I would have liked to see Pac get a little more shine than that.
Yeah.
I'm sure like Kip Sabian will, last year he was doing the pre-show, and maybe he'll be in the gauntlet match. That'd be good for him. I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, I think that that's probably the most likely place for him. I think you'll probably see Claudio. I still think they might set up a match for Hangman, and I still think it might be Okada. And they just can't get there until this Claudio match happens. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what's happened since the last time we were in your beautiful ear holes, my beautiful ear holios. Joshi just made a face like she was going to throw up. So,
no, I didn't.
I'm doing my arch villain laugh right now. So, Joshi, you had a good question. And it's a simple question. Where is the motherfucking beef? Where is the meat in AEW? And why have the meat men been tenderized so badly? I got more meat puns if you want them. Joshi, we were talking about some big dudes in AEW, and that the meat guys kind of have a shockingly bad track record in the dub.
They lose all the time, man.
Yeah. It's actually easier to talk about the people who've done well than it is to talk about the people who've done bad, because there's less of the people who've done well. Miro, for a time, did really well.
Yeah.
He came in, that gamer gimmick he was doing sucked, and then he did
that was awful.
Then he did the Redeemer thing, and that was awesome. It's the best work I've ever seen him do in his entire career. When he came back, last year, and he was doing those promos again, I'm like, God damn, he's good at this. But he's basically, been on TV for like 6 months out of 3 years?
Yeah, it's true.
It's wild.
Sparingly, yeah.
So no idea when he's coming back. Wardlow had some brief meat success. He clearly was intended for a big feud with MJF that could have gone on longer, but didn't. And MJF bailing really kind of set Wardlow up for failure, took the attention away from Wardlow, and didn't set him up in a position to succeed. Nevertheless, they tried to run with Wardlow because they did have him kill MJF, and just not well booked. I thought maybe the best part of that entire run was War Joe and Samoa Joe turning on Wardlow. And Samoa Joe's the only other guy who's really experienced any sustained success. And a lot. I mean, to be fair, Samoa Joe's a big meaty bastard, and he has been the world champion this year. So I don't think that they're like prejudiced against big beefy boys, but I think that for whatever reason, they just don't have a bunch of big meaty men that they see a lot of potential in. So let's talk about a few that have stumbled that maybe shouldn't have. And I think right at the top of the list, Lance Archer.
Definitely.
Guy has all the wrestling, the actual athleticism and wrestling ability of a guy like Undertaker. In a lot of ways is more aerial, is more athletic. Lance is in his mid-40s. Like, he's not a young guy. To be fair, he has been injured a few times since AEW started. But I don't feel like he should just be fodder. You know, he got a few big wins. He did beat Moxley once for the New Japan US title. But that was in a Texas death match, and Mox was just counted out. It's not like he pinned him.
Right.
And he's mostly in trios matches with the Righteous right now. And Jake doesn't seem like Jake can be there every week. So that's cost Archer to some degree. But I still think Lance deserves more than what he's getting. Even if he was in ROH getting it.
Yeah.
Lance could be doing more. And he doesn't have a lot more time. So, like, with a guy that good, you just got to give him a little more, you know?
Push him already. I agree with Jake Roberts. This is a guy that you want to have in the main event scene picture. Like, what's going on, you know? So, right. I don't know. I don't get why they'll bring him back randomly. He'll beat some jobbers and then he'll lose to a star.
Right.
And usually it's a much smaller competitor.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't know. They need to make some changes there, because like one thing I Blade Daily that I really liked was when Darby was TNT champion and he faced Miro. I remember when Miro beat him, I actually cried a little bit because I loved Darby's reign as TNT champion, but they did such a good job at making it seem like there's no way that Darby's winning this match. And that's okay.
Well, and he had been thrown down the stairs earlier in the night by the Men of the Year, right?
Yeah, exactly. But ever since then, I haven't seen that. And that's unfortunate because big guys, big meaty guys, they do appeal to a certain demographic.
Sure. Well, and also they are great at getting sympathy on smaller baby faces, you know. But if they always lose, it kind of cancels that out, right? So, another big meaty guy that's, he's been like on TV a lot. He's injured right now, but he even had a TNT title run that was very brief. Is Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs. Do better. Hobbs deserves more. Like, this is a guy you could really invest in. I think he's a very good talker. Obviously, he didn't belong in QTV. It's debatable whether he belongs in the Callis family. I kind of feel like put him with Leo Rush. Have them be a tag, or not even a tag team, just like buddies. You know, go back to the kind of Leo with Lashley, but still have Leo wrestle, unlike what they did with Leo when he was with Lashley. I would love to see more of Hobbs when he comes back. Would love to see him have a title reign of some type, TNT title reign that actually lasts for a while.
Right.
You can tell that he seems like a guy that they kind of sideline a lot of the time. Like, they have a plan for him and then they sideline him. And, like, you don't have him crush Chris Jericho if there's no plan at all,
Right. What was the purpose of that?
Well, I think there was some purpose, and I think whatever that was, it got changed. And, I think when Coda got hurt, that messed a lot of things up because I think they were going to do the Golden Lovers. But yeah, Hobbs is just a guy that I always felt could be more than he is. Thank God he stopped coming down to the ring with that fucking book. I thought that was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
So let's turn our focus to two guys I think it would be super easy to do something with right now. Brody King.
Oh, my goodness, yes. And he's over.
You could do anything you wanted with that guy. Like, obviously he fits in great in a House of Black trios team. That's cool. However, I thought, Brody is a guy I saw before he was in AEW, before he was in Ring of Honor even. And, he stood out. He was a special competitor back then. So, seeing him on the indies with other people like Swerve and stuff like that, Brody is just a special kind of wrestler. And in the C2 last year, he was great. I loved that early dominant run that he went on where he's like beating Eddie Kingston and he's, he's just killing guys. I thought that was awesome. So I think Brody's a guy you could do a lot with. And I don't think he's been as difficult to pin down as some of the other guys in that faction. So would love to see Brody get something.
Absolutely.
Another person that we could definitely see getting some is Brian Cage.
Yeah.
I don't know that he needs to be associated with the Gates of Agony anymore. I think they're kind of dragging each other down more than they are like bringing each other up, because they just kind of remind me of this faction they were in with Swerve that broke up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need them to be trios anything. Like, I want the Gates of Agony to be a tag team, and I want Brian Cage to be at least a guy that wins sometimes.
Yes.
He does way too many jobs. I think Brian Cage is being jobbed out too much. He just doesn't look like a guy who should be losing this much. He really does jump off the page. He's gotten a lot better on the mic. I will give him that. His promos are way better. And I think he could do great stuff. I really do. I'm not saying make him world champion. I'm not saying make him international champion, but make him a guy who could believably win a TNT title or something like that. Even if he doesn't, just make him believable, And then actually the last guy I was going to mention is Killswitch.
Yep.
They clearly seem to have some kind of direction for him with Christian and the patriarchy. I just please execute it and please stick to it, because I feel sympathy for his character. He doesn't even get to carry his own fucking trios belts. Last year, he didn't get to carry his own fucking TNT title, So you need to have this guy be able to stand on his own and tell a good story with it. I'm not sure what they're going to do with him next, but this guy is great in the ring. Him and Archer are probably the two most athletic. Well, and Cage are they're the most athletic big guys they have. And that's to take nothing away from the other people, but Lucha or Killswitch is kind of a one of a kind kind of big man, You know
what? The fans always respond very well to the meat matches.
They do.
They start chanting meat. They're really into it. And I feel we don't get these matches enough. Why not have these big guys face each other more often and establish a rivalry? It would be fun. Why not do Lance Archer, Killswitch for a while or something like that? People would be into it. It's like we get, we'll get the occasional match here and there. And Tony knows that the fans love these matches. And then we don't get it for another 6 months or something like that. I think it should be more of a regular thing. And I also think that it's okay for Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, and some other wrestlers that can lose, to be honest, to take some losses and establish a feud with these big guys. They don't have to have a, one-off match where the small guy wins and that's the end of it. Why not have the much bigger competitor win, and then they'll have a rematch down the line and the smaller competitor wins or something like don't make your big guys look weak
right.
Right. Because then it's whenever Brian Cage has a match against someone like Fletcher or Orange or Darby, I never assume that Brian Cage is going to win. And I don't think that's fair to Brian Cage. He's a big guy. I mean, technically, if this was real life, we know wrestling is scripted. There's no chance in hell those guys would beat Brian Cage. And again, it's okay to have him beat these guys, and then down the line they have a rematch and he loses. But just make it more meaningful, make them stand out more. That's all I'm asking for, really.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Well, Tony, what we're saying is use your meat properly and in a timely manner before your meat goes rotten. Nobody likes rotten meat, Tony. Don't let Brian Cage become rotten meat. Jesus. Fucking clean your act up, mister. Okay. Joshi, will you permit me a rant?
As long as it's not about Shane McMahon, I'm fine with it. I know, I'm going to stop teasing you about Shane. Sorry.
I was
enough. Enough
I
is
was
enough.
glaring and shaking my head. You couldn't see that on this podcast, but Joshi knows what she did. She brought this Shane McMahon shit to light. I think he is going to, I bet you he shows up at All In.
That's what I'm thinking too. He's going to be there. Money, money, money. Sorry.
Damn it. And do you know that that song is made by Naughty by Nature, so WWE doesn't own it?
Oh.
So, like, here comes the money. That fucking shit
money.
could literally be the song he comes out to and does that fucking dance.
And I bet you're going to dance to it.
I'm going to dance. My hands are going to dance to my own throat while I try to just choke myself out. And this isn't some weird sex shit, okay? Like, I literally want to pass out. All right, Joshi. So it's said that AEW has too many championships. And
yes.
You know who it's said by is me. Okay, I say that. And you say that. And a lot of people say that. But are they the only ones? Okay? Are they the only ones who have too many championships? So I did a little research. AEW, I'm not counting ROH. AEW has 4 men's singles titles. It has the world title, the international title, the continental title, and the TNT title. They have 2 female singles titles. They have the TBS title and the world title. They have the trios titles, and they have the world tag titles. That is 8 titles. They also have in ROH 3 men's singles titles, 2 female singles titles, 1 trios title, and 1 tag title. That's 7 titles for a much smaller roster of people. Way too many titles. Way too many titles, in my opinion. Not way too many, but too many. So 8 and 7 is 15. So if we think of ROH as a developmental territory like AEW's NXT, almost, you can make a case that you could trim a few titles back from each and get to a better place. But it's still quite a bit.
Agreed.
Still quite a bit. However, in doing some research, I dug into some other places. And one of those is New Japan Pro Wrestling. Oh, boy. 6 men's singles titles. 2 female singles titles.
Brace.
3 tag titles. And a trios title. Now, that is between the IWGP, Never, and Strong titles. When Strong started, I thought they were going to have that studio show they were doing in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And the Strong titles would be the titles defended in America. But then they canceled the Strong show. Why do those titles still exist?
Right? I've been wondering the exact same thing. It doesn't make any sense.
And functionally, what the fuck is going on with the Never titles? Like, who cares? Honestly, who cares? I never got it why those titles really existed in the first place, other than it could be won by a junior or it could be won by a heavyweight. And that might be the only place you see juniors and heavyweights fighting, but they fight lots of other times. It's not a novelty. It's not special. They also have 3 sets of fucking tag titles. They have the strong tag titles and the New Japan heavyweight tag titles and the junior heavyweight tag titles. Get rid of those junior heavyweight tag titles. I would get rid of all the strong titles. Maybe keep the heavyweight and the women's so you can keep Mercedes the champion. But Gabe Kidd is the strong heavyweight champion right now, and he's never here. He doesn't wrestle in the States. Like, what are you guys doing? But that's not all, Joshi. So AEW has 15 between their developmental and their main roster. New Japan only has a main roster, and they have 12. That's not even counting Stardom. I am actually going to reference the WWE. Just apples to apples here.
Do it.
WWE has 5 men's singles titles, 2 women's singles titles, and 3 tag titles. Their main roster has 10 titles compared to AEW's 8 and New Japan's 12. NXT has 3 men's singles titles, 2 women's singles titles, and 1 tag title. They have 2 world champions on the main roster. They have 2 women's world champions on the main roster. They have 2 tag champions. Can we really say that AEW is doing titles worse than New Japan or WWE? They're actually doing it better in a lot of ways. Now, you guys know I'm not a huge WWE guy. I don't watch the show that much, okay? Ever, actually. But I did watch it for like 30 years, okay? And WWE's history with titles is not the best, okay? Included in one of those singles titles is the fucking Speed title.
Oh, boy.
5-minute matches. You know who holds that? Andrade.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's what they got Andrade doing.
It was Ricochet before, right?
Yes. Yeah. And you have a women's tag title that, as far as I can tell, is a total mess. You have 2 sets of tag titles for like how many tag teams? Between the 2 shows, how many tag teams?
They don't have that many tag teams.
See, when they split the rosters in WWE, I thought, hey, they're almost like creating their own territory system, right? And you have one world champion who goes between both shows. But you're only going to be world champion if you're like tip of the top selling tons of merch, right? Which I thought would lead to longer title reigns and really top grading the talent that had those titles. But it really hasn't. Jinder Mahal has been champion. I'm sorry. It's true. Jinder, nothing personal, buddy. I'm sure you know you didn't deserve to be champion too. But that leads me to another point. What does it mean to be a champion? Like, why would you compete for the international title instead of the continental title? What's the difference? Is it just because you like the belt more? What comes with being that champion? I wish that these belts had a little more identity. What's the difference between being the Intercontinental Champion and the U.S. Champion? You're just on a show with that secondary title?
I will say this, I Blade Daily. I do like that MJF is defending the international title in different promotions outside of the United States. I mean, that's what it's interesting, right? But that's what the international title should mean. The person who holds that belt needs to defend it all over the world.
It's interesting that the guy doing the like Hogan Mega Ultra America gimmick is the guy who's actually defending the belt in Mexico and the UK.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting, isn't it? I need to see that Michael Oku match. I really want to see that match.
Yeah.
But yes, no, he's doing a great job. I think, like, talk about what does it mean when you're the world champion? What does the company do for you? Also, why do we call anybody but the world champion the best wrestler in the world? I could kind of get it if like MJF was the world champion as a heel. You could be like, no, Bryan Danielson's the real best wrestler in the world. We all know MJF cheated, blah, 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 blah. But not when Swerve's the champion. You can't call Will Ospreay the best wrestler in the world. When Ric Flair was the world champion back in the day, end of story. Ric Flair was the best.
That's true.
Best wrestler in the world. No questions asked. And, you know, something that Jim had a lot of tics that were very amusing and at times very annoying. Like him always needing to mention, well, he's got a master's degree in socioeconomics. He played football at fucking wherever but he always talked about you want to be the champion because it means more money. You get paid more when you're the champion. That's not as clear in AEW. That's not as clear anywhere. What does being the champion mean? It means you're the best. Do you get to travel on a private jet? They should think of this. Like, it would make those titles, like, when your guy wins, his life is better. He's the fucking champion, you know?
Just as an example, what's the difference between the AEW Women's World title and the TBS champion?
Right.
What's the difference? Right. Who's the better wrestler, the best female wrestler? I don't know right now because they're not really differentiating the two.
Right. Well, and I think that's sometimes the drawback when you have somebody like a Mercedes, somebody that high up holding the secondary title is, to me, the world title's always the biggest title, right?
It should be. Yeah.
Tony is the best in my mind. That's the way it should be told. Otherwise, don't give her the title, right? But, you know, obviously Mercedes looks damn good with that title around her shoulder. Her walking around in her social media world with the TBS title on looks awesome. It gets the brand out there more. You know, I get it, but at the same time, I kind of don't, you know? So,
yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I mean about identity. So, like, the Continental, like, I don't understand this title at all, but
me neither.
They do some smart stuff with it. Nobody can interfere in those matches, and you have to defend it in a tournament every year. I kind of like that, but like, do it more. Like, Okada's defended it like one time.
Also, the TNT title, and I will give Cody Rhodes props, Darby Allin as well. Actually, that should be the workhorse.
It should
title.
be.
You have I liked when it was all about open challenges. Mm-hmm. They defended it on TV every week. That needs to come back. And Copeland was doing a good job with that, actually.
Copeland was doing great.
You know, Perry should be doing the same freaking thing. I don't care that he's a heel. You know, like, he hardly defends that belt. And part of me wants Darby to win it so that we can see open challenges again. It's been a really long time. Like, that's one thing that I really miss about the TNT title, you know, when it was all about, I'm the workhorse champion, I defend it on TV every week. That's what it should be.
Totally agree, because it's basically a TV championship. It's literally got the name of the fucking network on it. It's not called a TV title, but the TBS and TNT titles, that's essentially what they are. I have it in my notes here that, you know, back in the day, if you won the WCW title, TV title, you were going to defend it every week. The matches were 15 minutes long. If you went to a draw as the champion, you basically won the match. And,
right.
You know, it was kind of a springboard. So you were the workhorse. You defended it every week, and there was a set time limit. That was the identity of that title. So it was kind of the title you won for WCW to show they were serious about moving you up the ladder, you know?
And I don't care if you're a heel. At the end of the day, just because you win a belt doesn't mean that you get to decide how you defend.
Yeah.
It's up to the boss, man. Like, I don't like that crap where it's like, well, I'm not going to defend it. It's like, no, you're champion. You freaking have to. You can cheat, and, you know, you can find ways to be sneaky like Ric Flair would do, but it's not up to you to decide how often you get to defend that belt. I don't like that.
Yeah, totally agree. When people are like, we're done with the open challenges, you know, it's like, that's bullshit.
It's not up to you.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
So that would be the identity for the TNT title. The Continental title, if you're going to keep it around, have it defended more often, have it no interference. You know, it's kind of their pure title almost. The international title is defended internationally. And the world champion is the center of the show and the center of the roster that everything revolves around. And then they're doing a good job of that with Swerve and for the most part, Tony as well. So those are some things that are just on my mind about titles. I love titles. It really is one of my very favorite parts about wrestling. I love the actual belts, like belt designs. I'm a total geek for that shit. But also just great championship reigns. I think they've done such a good job with their world titles, but they need to do more to make the rest of their titles make sense. And I'm talking about AEW and Ring of Honor right now. However, I do have to say, stacked up to New Japan, who I actually feel is the worst. They have the worst title situation of the three. WWE, I know that Gunther had like a really long Intercontinental title reign, but the U.S. title was on Logan fucking Paul, Yeah. So, it's not like they're like fucking magical with these things. Roman held the belt, by all accounts, maybe a year too long. Holding a title for a certain amount of time can only be special if you actually wrestle during that time.
Right.
So last thing I would do, I'd merge the international and continental championships. I'd still defend it in the C2. Okay. I would get rid of the men's Ring of Honor television title. I don't see the need for it. Keep the pure title. It has more of an identity, and they're not even on TV right now. And then get rid of those goddamn 6-man tag titles in Ring of Honor. Get rid of them.
Yes. I hope this is just a temporary thing for Dustin and the Von Erichs.
I think it might be. I would also get rid of all the Never titles in New Japan and seriously consider whether the strong titles need to be there either. Because if you don't have a show in the United States, what's the point? All right. So there we go. There's my little 2 cents. Joshi, you have anything else you want to add there?
Nope. You summarized it very well.
All right. Well, next episode is going to be a full episode of previewing All In. We'll talk about anything that happens between now and then. We'll preview all the matches and give you our predictions. Can't wait to see it. All In. It's All In season, baby. And I'm all in for it. So, with that said, I'm Blade Daly.
I'm Joshi G.
Pro Wrestling Forever. Get the hell out of here, John!